Good evening, everyone. My name is Shalini Sivadas. Today I'll be presenting my assignment title Ethical and Effective Online Communication in Malaysia's Multicultural Society. In this presentation, I will discuss the challenges of online communication, the importance and respectful communication, the issue of misinformation in Malaysia, and why ethical communication is important in public settings. Well, today, people use WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Thread, Twitter, and communicate almost instantly. While these platforms makes communication easier and faster, they also create challenges. Online messages do not include facial expression or tone of voice, making misunderstandings very common in our society. Therefore, ethical communication is becoming increasingly important, especially in multicultural country like Malaysia. So as you can see, we have many social media platform whereby it's all online that we use, and there's no facial communication or eye contact with people. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is misinterpretation of tone. One of the biggest communication challenges that we are facing today is misinterpretation of tone of us, which when we communicate face to face, we understand the emotions through facial expression, gesture, and voice. However, online messages only contains words where most of the time people misinterpret on how actually we relay the message, or how do we feel about somebody, or the messages that we are actually communicating with someone. So this can actually cause people to misunderstanding and the sender's intention. So since Malaysia is a multicultural country, so people from different backgrounds may interpret the same messages differently. So even emojis may have different meanings depending on the person's culture. Let's say, for example, like this. So this may actually sound like please or begging, and so on. So this is one of the thing that I would like to share. So next we'll go on with what how can we reduce misunderstandings in this way. So there are several ways to actually to reduce misunderstanding. Firstly, we should communicate clearly and avoid sarcasm or confusing languages. Secondly, we should show empathy by asking for clarification before reacting emotionally on any messages that was actually sent to us. So finally, improving digital literacy also helps communicate people to communicate responsibly and understand different cultures, different cultural perspectives. These simple actions can actually build a safer online environment. So the next thing that I would like to talk about is actually clear, respectful, and culturally sensitive communication, and why is it very important? Well, clear and respectful communication is especially very important in Malaysia, as we live in a multicultural society. In so different We have different ethnic groups, religions, cultures, and communicate with them each and every day, and we are surrounded by them. So we should always choose our words very carefully and avoid languages that may offend others. And also, respectful communication encourages positive discussions and help maintain social harmony. And businesses and organizations should also recognize a different cultural celebration to show inclusiveness and respect. So the next thing that I would like to actually emphasize is on another major challenge is online misinformation. So examples like fake news, online scam, clickbait headlines, fake WhatsApp messages and how to prevent it. So, fake news scams and misleading headlines spread very, very quickly through social media. So, many people actually forward messages without checking whether they are true. This can actually create a lot of issues such as fear and confusions, even financial losses. So, before we share any information, we should actually verify it through reliable sources such as MCMC, PDRM, or Bernama. So every social media user has a responsibility to actually to stop the spread of misinformation by having a sense of responsibility. Okay, so next, I would like to say about ethical communication in public settings. Okay, say for an example, by Ministry of Health Malaysia, government hospitals, agencies, news organization, and so on. So, public organization also have an important responsibility to communicate ethically. So, government agencies and healthcare organization must also provide accurate and timely information to the people during, especially during emergencies. People actually depend on official announcements to make important decisions. Honest and transparent communication builds people public trust and helps prevent confusion, and organizations should also admit mistakes and correct inaccurate information promptly to the people. So we are going to talk about in conclusion. So overall, I would say online communication offers many benefit and also creates new challenges. As a social media user, we all have the responsibility to communicate honestly, respectfully, and ethically by thinking before we post or send a message or relay a message to anyone, and also by respecting cultural differences and verifying information. We can also help create a safer and more trustworthy digital environment. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.